What's up, guys? Today we're working on the 68 Torino, and check it out. These are the brakes I picked up from the junkyard. I got these freshly cut and cleaned up. I put some high-temp paint on the hub here, and then the rest of it is all Pour 15. Came out super nice. Let me show you guys the back. Oh, these are heavy. Check that out. Really nice. So we're gonna put these on. I'm also going to put the Ford 9-inch that I have for it, which is right here. It's also painted in Pour 15. And we're also going to convert it to a booster setup. So that's the goal for today. We're gonna get this Torino a little bit more reliable in braking power and ready for some long trips. So let's do it. All right, check that out. The old rear end is out. It looks like it was leaking from the seal here on both sides. So I'm glad I'm changing it out. Check that out. I just swapped the whole drum brake stuff to the other 9-inch rear end, and right now I'm just cleaning up the threads, and we're gonna make the lines and put it back in. Only thing I did was disconnect the leaf spring from the back here. So pretty simple, just slide it back in there, put the U-bolts back on, and just attach everything back together. So let's get it done. We got some parts in. We got the master cylinder right here with the brackets for the booster. I was really hesitant to buy the booster and the master cylinder because it's made in China, and just haven't heard very good stuff about these boosters and master cylinders. But I've also heard some good stuff. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see how this stuff works out in the Torino. You guys will be the first ones to know if anything goes wrong, but hopefully this stuff works good for a couple years and, you know, get the use out of it. So let's install this stuff. Alright guys, so I have the booster bracket all set up. I'm not really sure about the length of this rod here, what the proper length is. I believe that this is adjustable, and that basically adjusts the pedal height, I believe. So I think I'll have to, once I put all this in, I'll have to readjust this and see how the pedal is. But yeah, I'm not really sure what the spec is with this threaded rod here. So I guess we'll see when I install it. But it looks pretty good so far. I mean, nothing wrong with the unit. The bracket is powder coated. And I ordered this from Auto City Classics. I actually called them for some tech support on how to put this stuff together. And I kind of had I still have the original OEM one, so that kind of helped me as well. You guys can see that it's pretty old. But let's install it. Let's see how it fits. guys, so I have the booster almost mounted, and I've spent several hours trying to mount this thing correctly, and hopefully I'll save you guys some time if you're doing this conversion. But basically, the only way to mount this is to put the master cylinder on with the booster. As you can see, it's pretty tight with the shock tower. So once it's mounted, you can't really take that nut off or put it back on. So really tight. Also, I had to mess around with the studs that were attached to the body of the car here, and they kept coming loose. It just wasn't happening with those studs. So do yourself a favor and buy some bolts, 3/8 bolts that are threaded all the way in. So after a couple trips to the hardware store, I went back and forth, and 2-inch of this 3/8 bolt is what you need. So we're not going to use the studs anymore. They're just going to cause too many problems. We're going to go with the bolts. And then on the other side, I'm going to put a nylon locking nut to make sure that it's secured pretty well. So there you go. That information right there. It took me lots of hours and a couple days. So hope you guys save some time on it if you're doing it. Let's install it. So I had everything mounted. Everything was pretty much good to go. It was tight. And then I went inside the car to attach the brake pedal to the booster, and it was way too big. It was too tall on the floor there. So again, we have to adjust the rod here to lower the pedal. It's just way too high. I believe you're supposed to cut the rod to get it to lower, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm just gonna take this clevis here, take it out a bit, see what happens. If it raises it up even more, then I know that I have to cut the rod and go a bit lower on the clevis here. So let's try that. I'm gonna try that really quick and see what the change is. Okay, as suspected, it raised the pedal even higher. Look how high that thing is. So I think we'll have to cut the rod and lower down this pedal. That's the only way. So let's do that really quick. I'm actually replacing all the brake lines with stainless steel, and the way that I get the template for the old one is I use this metal wire here. I don't want to use the original because it's been bent around, and you know, I had to cut it at the end over here. So I'm just gonna get the proper length with this steel wire and then transfer it over to the brake line. Easy. Alright guys, so I have everything installed, the brake booster with the master cylinder. I bled the brakes a couple of times to make sure I have no air. And I took it for a little test drive, and it just didn't feel right. The brake pedal, it doesn't grab on soon enough. It has too much travel until it grabs on. And at first I thought it was the master cylinder or the booster that was bad. I was getting kind of worried. But I did a couple of tests. I'll show you guys here. With the car off, this will work with pretty much any car with the booster. With the car off, you're going to keep pressing the brake pedal, and it should start to get harder and harder to press down. So that tells me that the booster is working okay. There's a second check for that as well. But for the master cylinder, to check it, we're just gonna press it and just hold it down firm, and it shouldn't go soft or it shouldn't go to the floor. So that tells me that the master cylinder is working okay. And for the second check for the booster, we're gonna turn the car on, and the pedal should go down just a tad. So let's see. Saw that? So I don't know if you could see that, but the pedal went down, so that tells me that the booster is good. So what else is there to check? I researched this a little bit more with the booster installation, and it turns out that you're supposed to measure the booster rod with the master cylinder distance. So I didn't know that. This was my first time ever doing this installation. So I did a research and I found this tool that we're going to use to adjust that booster with the master cylinder. That way the rod engages all the way. So we're going to have to take it off all over again and check the distance between the pin. So let's do that really quick. Finally home, and test drive could not have gone any better. I feel as if the brakes are adjusted as best as I could, and with so many changes to the brake system, I did have a lot of problems, some couple gremlins here and there. The biggest one was that the pedal travel was just way too much before the brakes actually engaged. And doing that booster rod adjustment helped it a little bit, but the biggest change was the adjustment of the rear brake shoes. And I was getting kind of frustrated before I figured it out. You know, it's just stuff that happens when you're working on these cars and you're doing so many changes at the same time that, you know, there's going to be problems that arise. But I'm pretty happy with the end results. I love the way this car brakes now, and I would really recommend this setup if you're planning on doing it to your old classic car. I will update you guys in the comments, you know, maybe months from now, but that's it. If you guys liked the video, please subscribe, and any questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching.